One of my long-held not great habits is always thinking that I can fit in more to a day than any human could probably fit into a day. So this morning I decided to come to the Pittsburgh Botanical Gardens just for a little while. I needed so much more time. I needed my notebook. I needed a friend along the way to process everything with. So here we are. I just need to say to you, good morning, love. I'm so grateful you're here. This whole place is absolutely incredible. We're barely scratching the surface. And so, of course, it means I need to come back. So many cool things to do here in Pittsburgh. It's literally taken my breath away. Again and again and again. Did you know the Triceratops means three-horned face? I just learned that today from this sculpture by Dale Lewis. Yes, by Dale Lewis. His sculptures are here only for this year. So if you're watching this after 2026, you won't be able to see these here. But oh my goodness, spectacular. They're made from repurposed stuff, which I also love. What's not to love about this place?
The Botanical Garden is filled with trails on both sides of the road. This side had lots of picnic tables, as you can see, and has many educational programs. And this is the North Cedar stand, the same place where the Triceratops lives. One thing I like to do that really calms me is to look up at the top of the trees. Perhaps it's because I love the huge trees. I love how they tower over us, and oh, what a pretty view from the top or bottom.
I wonder what's in that. I wonder. When I first got to the Botanical Garden, it wasn't open yet. So I walked along a path, and they had trees and plants and art and a black gum tree, which I hugged with thrilling delight. And as I got to this area, which is across the street from the main part of the Botanical Garden, I saw a group of evergreen pine trees. And then I saw this. This is a sweet gum pod. I don't know where the sweet gum is hiding, but hello. Again, those of you who've been around for a while. Favorite tree in Bakersfield, and a reminder of my brother. When I see sweet gum pods, I know that Joe's around somewhere. Oh, I love it. Follow your intuition, follow your whim, follow your fascinations when you travel. Don't just go to the mall and stuff like that. Search for places you might not normally go to. That's what today's about. Well, hello there, friends. How are you doing? The Botanical Garden is even teaching us about how chickens help gardeners. They're omnivores. Who knew?
The chicken is part of the heritage homestead at the Botanic Gardens. When European people first came and settled, they had a very deep relationship with the land, with forest, with the trees.
Sometimes when I talk about growing up, y'all think, gosh, Julie had an idyllic childhood. Not really. There were problems, as there were in every family. But coming to this garden just reminds me of some of the funny things that happened in my family. Even though as I got older, once I got to be, I think, in my elementary school years, Dad's drinking got to be a big problem. And Mom went back to school, got her degree. Her independence bothered my dad. And eventually things all worked out and they lived happily ever after. Their marriage was actually much better once all of his kids were gone. So I always tell empty nesters, get ready for the second honeymoon of your life, perhaps better than the first. But anyway.
Moments like this, I feel like I'm saying too much, but I feel like it's important just to keep it in, so I am.
Being out here today just delights me, an unending delight.
This house is the Walker Ewing Glass Log House. It has links to the Whiskey Rebellion of the 1700s, and when it's open, it has an immersive representation of how early Americans lived in harmony with their surroundings. Maybe that was what I was digging into and feeling so comfortable sharing stuff I don't normally talk about on videos that I'm touring different locations when I travel. You just never know. Again, trust your intuition. Go with your gut. Go visit some of these places that you normally wouldn't see or even think of seeing. I'm glad that I came over to this historical part of the Botanic Garden, and now it's time to go over to see the more traditional side. I'm saving the visitor center for last, but as you walk through the visitor center and come out the door, you are immediately immersed in this beautifully, carefully curated and planted botanic garden, quite different from what's across the street. My senses were engaged from the beginning, and I caught sight of irises. And I love irises. They're my favorite flower, but I love how they're planted with an assortment of other flowers here as well. I immediately took a photo and sent a text to my sister. She's quite the gardener. I'm not as much, although I can be appreciative. Like, I don't paint, but I love paintings. Botanic gardens are sort of like museums for plants. I love when things are labeled so I can learn more as I travel along the path. This garden did not disappoint. This section is part of the pollinators garden, which is so important for our bee population. I would like to introduce you to Smiley, the Smilodon. Some of us call Smilodons saber-toothed tigers. This particular Smilodon is patterned after one that was found in La Brea Tar Pits, which is near where I lived once upon a time in Los Angeles, at the Los Angeles Museum of Natural History. Look at this guy's tongue. I mean, he's just so full of character, all made of rebar. And look at the feet. Feet and rebar scraps everywhere. So after I was wooed by the beginnings of the Botanic Garden, I decided to check out the map so I could come up with a plan. You know, I only had an hour. I cannot believe I thought I could do this in an hour. Look at the comprehensive map. There are woodlands, there are ponds. There is so much to explore. So, as I said before, in the entrance to the museum, I was slightly prepared. I paid my admission fee, and what was there but a watercolor exhibition of scenes from the Appalachian Trail. Was I put here by accident, or was it a divine appointment? I love this map. Look, there's New Jersey. I carefully walked around trying to find as many New Jersey, Pennsylvania sites that I could see, because, hello, this is for you, Canro. Here's some Pennsylvania shots, and I tell you, I could have bought almost any of these works of art that have these tiny scenes, or actually they're not tiny, but these very close-up images. I have seen a toad like that on the Appalachian Trail a couple times, but boy, is that a beautiful painting. My only disappointment is there were no scenes from New Jersey on its own. There were Pennsylvania, there was some New York, there was quite a bit in Katahdin, a lot in Virginia. I love those flowers, though. You know me and wildflowers. I definitely enjoy those. And the Luna moth, yep, that's one of the ones in my vague area. I don't know why I said vague there. No idea. Ro, this is for you. That spider was in Pennsylvania, so be on the lookout. I don't think I'd want to come upon one of those looking like a tarantula kind of spider. Kind of scary. I love it when the places I visit take as much care in their restrooms as they do with everything else. And this restroom in the Botanical Garden is stunning. And they even had umbrellas by the door. A1 place, highly recommend. Go visit. There's even a trail outside the Botanical Gardens, and I did this little short morning walk before I went in, because I got there nice and early. I wanted to scope it out. The day before I went, and there was no parking to be found. This is a popular space. And now some bloopers. Doing it again. I can't walk and talk at the same time. Hang on a second. Let me get out of this bumpy area. So, before the Botanical... Before the